So once we get started, we'll mute everyone just so we can keep it quiet. And, today we got the Cooking for Wellness presented by Giant Eagle. We got Chef Jason. He's going to prepare the chef challenge. We'll see what he's going to make and what ingredients here in just a moment. And, we have our dietitian Lori here. She's going to be giving us all the nutritional advice. So I think we're ready to get started.
And as Chef unveils, I do have the 3 ingredients, and we will acknowledge our participants who suggested those items. So Chef, if you want to unveil, we'll share what you have under the towel.
Here we go, the moment of truth. Let's see how much you guys like me in 2021.
Oh, let me.
Okay.
So what Chef has in front of him is he has tofu, and we got the firm kind. And that was suggested by Kathy Amato and Elisa Basaro. He also has parsnips, which were recommended by Pat Belmont and Ann Nybert. And then he has goat cheese, which was recommended by Pat Belmont. So Chef will have 30 minutes to come up with a recipe based on those 3 ingredients.
Sounds great. Okay.
So Lori, what's the difference between the different kind of tofu? That was one of the reasons I called you was, do I get silken? Do I get firm? We ended up with firm today.
Well, it's really just the amount of water that's in the product. So firm has twice the protein, and that just has to do with it being drier and more dense. And then silken is, well, I mean, there's a reason like you might want to buy silken is because it's half the calories and fat. I mean, just because it has more water. So it's all soybean, which is a complete protein, which is really nice plant-based complete protein. And the difference is really just density between firm and silken. It is the reason I liked this out of all of our choices or suggestions was that it's a great plant source of iron and calcium, magnesium, copper, zinc, and thiamine. So really nutrient dense, completely plant-based. And when we think about AICR, so the American Institute of Cancer Research, and their suggestion around limiting animal proteins between 12 and 18 ounces a week, like whatever Chef comes up with would be completely balanced and nourishing in regards to your protein requirements and completely plant forward. So I liked that suggestion. I forget who did you say suggested tofu?
We had 2. We had Elisa and Kathy.
Okay, so thank you guys. That was a good suggestion. We'll see what Jason can do with it. I'm sure it'll be fabulous. The next suggestion was parsnips, which I loved. So who did that one, Darlene?
That was
Ann
Nybert and Pat.
Okay, so both of you guys wanted to see what parsnips could do. I love it. 1 cup gives 7 grams of fiber, and everybody knows that I think you can build a really healthy diet just by looking at the fiber content of foods. So 100 calories, 7 grams of fiber, and 1 cup of parsnips. You get 37% of the RDI for vitamin C. So that's really like one of the power punches out of parsnips. You also get potassium and folate, which, as those phytonutrients come together, that's really anti-inflammatory. There's also an antifungal component to parsnips. So, hopefully you don't need that, but if you do, that's one thing to do naturally. And then our last suggestion was goat cheese, which I really liked because who was that, Darlene?
That was Pat again, Pat Belmont.
Okay, so thank you, Pat. I love goat cheese personally. An ounce has 75 calories and 6 grams of fat. So we might be thinking, it's an animal protein. It's got a lot of fat, but you get 40 milligrams of calcium, and that's lower than most other soft cheeses. So when you think about like if cheese is really desirable or kind of feels like an indulgence to you, this is a good choice because it's a little bit lower than most soft cheeses. And if that, a little sprinkling of goat cheese, an ounce of goat cheese is going to make you eat the tofu and the parsnips and hopefully something leafy and green is going to get mixed in there, that is a way to make it feel kind of rounded out and complete in regards to, being satisfied. So I don't mind that we have that cheese as a component tonight. So what do you think about that, Chef? Are you going to be able to incorporate those three together?
I am. I am going to, we'll see where we end up. But yes, I'm going to be able to incorporate them. I'm still thinking through some things, but we're, I'm breaking these parsnips down currently. Really great. They have a really great flavor to them. But the one thing people don't realize is even though people think they're just like carrots, they can be really woodsy. And so I've peeled them, and I'm going to get the cores out in a sense. There's a woodsy core in there. And I'm going to probably make this like a puree. So I'm going to get the woodsy part out as much as possible so that I can cook these down and puree them.
Okay, that's really good information. So, you don't want to start a dish and be disappointed with the end product. So knowing that there's like a difference in texture with the core is good info. You can get that out of there and make it a little, especially if you're going to puree, you can have that be a creamier product.
Yes, so that you don't, with a parsnip, because even though it does look like a carrot, you can't just cut it into pieces right off. You want to get that middle, as much as you can out, because like I said, it will change the texture and the taste, flavor profile of it.
Okay. The other thing is, I think to keep in mind when you think about possibly roasting a parsnip, it's going to take forever.
Yes.
That's another like root vegetable that I would think about when I do it to cut down on time. I microwave it first and then put it in the oven to roast.
How long would you microwave that for, Lori?
I know, it's funny. I kind of go between like 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the amount. And then you can roast them in 15 minutes. So you're really just browning them once they get in there. I don't know. Chef might have a different opinion on that.
I was going to say, with a lot of root vegetables, potatoes, it just helps. If you can kind of soften them, or, like Lori said, microwave them just a little bit, that will cut down on your cooking time and allow you to get a really good roast, the texture and color on the roast. So she was already in my head that's what I was doing here with these parsnips.
Okay. We do have a question from Anne. It says, does pureeing change the fiber content? And the beauty in that response is no. So you can use it as a puree or in like soup form, or, well, that's how I think about a puree, like to get, still use the whole thing, but no, you would still get the benefit of all of those 7 grams per cup, which is really good. Remember that for women, we look for 25 grams of fiber in a day, and for men, we look for 38. So, a serving of parsnips gets you well on your way. Yeah. Does anybody have any experience with parsnips? Do they cook them for them? Does anybody cook them for themselves? No?
Yeah, I do.
I have.
You do?
I do.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I do.
So Rochelle, how do you do it?
Usually it can be just part of my roasted vegetables, but I also have a dish that's parsnips, carrots, garlic, onions, and potatoes if I want. And then I put them in a pan and layer chicken hot thighs over them.
Right. Yeah.
And baste it with just a little bit of honey and water.
Nice. That sounds.
And thyme.
Yeah, love it. I love the herb content there. Like that really packs the antioxidants. So that's a great idea, the thyme. Pat is saying that she's cooked parsnips with potatoes and garlic and then mashed them all together. So that's another really nice way to incorporate those.
One of the things, one of the ways that I cook them, you may think it's boring. I think it's wonderful. If I have a roast, if I have any kind of roast, whether it's roast chicken or roast pork or roast lamb, my favorite is roast lamb with potatoes, parsnips, carrots, and onions.
Nice.
And
Sounds
then just
great.
season that. And
That sounds like my chicken one.
It does.
yeah, roast them until actually, and you don't need much more than just seasoning in that, because the juice from the roast and the juice from the vegetables, and especially the onions, you can get them nice and caramely after you take your roast out, and then you put them back in the oven and make sure that they're nice and kind of crispy on the edges. Oh my God, they're fabulous. The parsnips are so sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's what'll happen, with roasting them. And that's why you'll see most applications with parsnips being roasted, because as you roast them, it actually brings out a little bit more of the sweetness that they contain.
Well, I've put them around a brisket along with carrots, onions, I guess some other vegetables, occasionally turnips. And I've never had a problem with the core or with them being tough. I've always found them to become quite soft.
Good.
Yeah, I've cooked parsnips in a pot roast. The way I cook my pot roast is covered in water and broth, so it's a moist heat. So I too have not had a problem with the center of parsnips.
Good. Well, I guess everybody's chompers are a little bit different. Some I think my kids are strange. I mean, I think they will leave the crust and the brown part or the caramelized part of a food, where I think that's the most flavorful, and I would eat that, and they'll leave it because they'll say it's too hard to chew. Which is, really weird, but that's, I guess everybody's different.
Well, do they have braces?
My daughter does, so she's excused, but the little guy, I think,
That
just
could make
might
it
be a
easy.
little bit lazy. He's a sweet one though, so I don't really get on him too much. I let him leave his crust and stuff.
Well, we've seen him. He's adorable.
Oh, thank you. He's pretty easy to get along with, so we don't, he eats, I'm lucky. Both of my kids will eat almost anything, so.
That is good, because my son will not.
Yeah, they will try it, but I think they know that that's the expectation. They've never been allowed to say no.
My daughter, on the other hand, she'll try mostly anything. But my son, he's the kid who will pick out peppers and onions out of a dish. If he sees little specks of bell peppers or things like that, he's going to pick out each piece out of, if it's spaghetti, he's going to literally won't sit there and eat it until he's picked out every pepper.
But he's super sweet too, so take him off the hook. I've met him. He's very.
He's a character. He is, and he knows it. That's the problem.
He was a.
Is he too much like his dad?
No, not at all.
No, I would say no. He's like a perfect angel.
Oh.
He used to come to class and he would be so sweet. He would just be real quiet.
And I don't know that kid, Lori, so I was just like, who is this kid? But I guess that's a good thing. As long as they know how to act out in public, that's all that matters.
Yes. Okay, so Chef, is that the goat cheese?
This is the goat cheese. Came in this nice little vacuum sealed pack. And I love goat cheese. I think it's amazing when you mention goat cheese to a lot of people, the first thing they do, well, some people turn their nose up. And I don't know if it's because it's called goat cheese. And it kind of, I think mentally it kind of throws people off. So I love goat cheese. I think it's really great. Has a really, I like the nice creaminess to it. And it just has good flavor for certain things.
Right. I agree. I like an herbed goat cheese. You can sometimes buy the cheese already infused with different herbs.
Yes.
If you kind of like the Mediterranean set of herbs, then flavored that way. But I find the plain super versatile, so you can do anything with it. You can even go kind of like on a sweet, on the sweet side with it, kind of like ricotta would, like a like
Yes.
honey drizzle.
Yep.
I think that that's a nice flavor.
I think during Christmas, I did a charcuterie board and I had some honey and cranberry that I mixed in some goat cheese as one of the spreads on the charcuterie board.
Which I think sounds fabulous.
Giant Eagle has honey goat cheese, and then they also have the herb goat cheese and several other flavors. And I said, well, because it's Chef's Challenge, he's getting plain.
He's gonna have to jazz it up himself.
Thanks, Darlene.
You're welcome.
So I'm
Yeah,
Just
can you
kinda-
tell us what you're doing, Chef?
I am about to toast some quinoa here because it's going to be the crust on my tofu. So I'm gonna make a crust on this tofu, and we're gonna crust the tofu. And I'm gonna add some herbs and seasonings to it, and crust this, and we're just gonna go with the or on the parsnip puree.
Yum. And then will the goat cheese just be the topper?
The goat cheese is going to actually be mixed into the parsnip puree.
Oh, wow. That sounds fabulous.
Good. Wow.
Your creative juices are flowing tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Okay, so like when we think about what to expect here, we're having a quinoa crusted tofu
mhm,
with a parsnip goat cheese puree.
yes. I'm going to add a little bit of turmeric for health benefits, and it's going to give it a nice color. And I have some seasonings here somewhere.
Is it true that you need to use pepper along with turmeric to make it absorb properly?
There is some research that says a black pepper extract does increase your access to all of those really powerful curcuminoids in turmeric. So I think I think it's beneficial whether you have the black pepper or not, but it would just boost your access if their black pepper is with it.
And you said extract, can't you just use ground black pepper?
You can, but like in supplements, it'll say black pepper extract typically. So like,
Black pepper extract.
yeah, like when you see, like if you're buying like a turmeric supplement to take on a daily basis, it'll usually have the black pepper extract. But if you're cooking with it, just, kind of combine some black pepper and you should get the same effect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I made my own taco seasoning blend today, and it has black pepper in it. And I'm wondering, well, turmeric, I could probably add that in there and we wouldn't even notice it. Am I correct?
That is what I would say. Yeah, you wouldn't really notice probably. Do you have a lot of cumin in it in your?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I feel like that's the most powerful piece to like a taco seasoning is like the cumin kind of sets the tone and the other stuff can kind of be in there and it enhances it. But I would say that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I toasted my quinoa a little bit. I'm gonna add, of course, you guys know my favorite, smoked paprika. A little Italian seasoning. Oh, that smells great.
Do you think you can do this in 10 minutes, Chef?
Yes.
All right, just checking.
I do have to say, I cannot use turmeric, and I'm on a targeted therapy, Tagresso, and turmeric and Tagresso do not get along.
Oh,
If you're on a targeted therapy, you need to check with the pharmacist, because my pharmacist said, no turmeric.
wow. Okay, I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that.
Wow.
Okay. So if you're on a targeted therapy, make sure you check with your pharmacist.
Yes.
So Chef, I saw with the tofu that you had drained it and then patted
I
it.
drained
dry.
it and then I took some paper towels so that I can dry it. A lot of the moisture. So I needed some flour because I'm going to add some flour to this quinoa. Just so, like I said, we can create a nice breading. I didn't want to use regular flour, so I'm going to make some oat flour.
Darlene, I think when you're going to try and get tofu browned or caramelized, you got to get most of the water out.
Yes,
Otherwise, it'll be kind of like a steamed product.
Ah,
exactly. So that's why you want to press it and get as much of the liquid out of it as possible. So we have flour.
Can everyone tell that I was torn between culinary school and nutrition? I actually want to be cooking in the kitchen more than talking about that. Did you know that they closed the Culinary Institute in Columbus?
No,
Yes. The school is closed.
that is so sad.
I
In
thought it was-
Columbus State?
yes, the one like on Stelzer Road, that building.
Oh, you talking about
Well, not Columbus State, the culinary. I think it's
The
called
Bradford
culinary.
Bradford? Yes, they've been closed since 2019.
You're kidding.
Yep. They closed in 2019. And
Right.
that was probably, I mean, nobody said it, and I have a little bit of inside track. Nobody's verbally said it, but with the addition of the Mitchell Hall on Columbus State's campus, it's kind of there so that it can be the premier culinary program here in the city.
Oh, huh.
Because a lot of money went into that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think you should be able to have a couple choices. Doesn't seem quite right.
Oh, those are great. So I have some veggie broth here. I'm going to cook my parsnips in this veggie broth to infuse some flavor.
So you've got them in a saucepan on the stove?
Yes,
Okay. So you're going to try to get them soft enough to puree?
correct.
Okay.
And then we'll put a garlic clove in there because that is going to bring some flavor.
And a ton of antioxidants.
So we're just going to take a garlic clove, whole garlic clove, because as that flavors the broth, it's going to infuse into the parsnips and bring flavor. As Mr. Flavortown himself says, Guy Fieri.
Oh,
I have a question about how long can you use garlic? Because I bought a big bag of garlic cloves from Costco.
Mhm.
And they're turning brownish now. So I've been using them. I figured, well, they don't have to look perfect,
Right?
but have they lost some of their nutrition and quality? Well, yeah, maybe quality.
Chef, I'm not exactly sure about like length of like garlic cloves. How long can you hold?
It's already peeled garlic?
No,
Oh, so it's still in its peel.
right.
And you've had it for how long?
Oh, probably since last summer in the refrigerator.
Yeah, I would say it's probably time to
Time to what?
get rid of them.
Okay, okay.
Let me look it up because
I'm
honestly,
not sure of nutritional value, but fresh garlic, you're going to lose a lot out of that. Like I said, one, flavor and just quality.
yeah, I'm gonna look it up because that's a great question because I I keep them in my pantry a long time too, Wendy. So I'm
Well, I
gonna.
know that there's a movement to try to, go ahead and use food that doesn't look beautiful. and
Right? Yeah.
that-
Well, it's
Okay.
different when it doesn't look beautiful from when it's old.
Right.
And I would question if you have a lot of it and you're worried that it's going to get old, can you like chop it up and put it in maybe in a little olive oil and preserve it
And
like
put
they
it
have
in,
in
the
the
freezer,
grocery
freeze it.
store and stick it in your fridge and keep it that way?
Well,
Yeah, or put it in the freezer.
honestly, what I'm reading is that if the bulbs are stored in a cool, dry, well-ventilated place in mesh bags, the storage life is 3 to 5 months.
That's what I found, but I use
last
garlic
summer-
like crazy.
Last summer though is,
That's way long.
That's maybe, what could be 5 months ago, right? We're only January. So August, September, October, November, December, 5 months. You could be well within your window. It's that, and then it doesn't really go rancid. It says it shrivels or sprouts.
yeah, it's a wonder it hasn't sprouted yet.
Hasn't sprouted, no.
What has Jason been sprinkling on the plate there?
So I was going to tell you, I just put
Okay.
in a little bit. So in this breading mixture is a little granulated garlic, Italian seasoning, smoked paprika, coriander, and then just a little salt and pepper.
Thank you.
And so I added, so with this toasted quinoa is oat flour, and that's just going to help everything to be able to stick. I have a pan here getting hot with a little bit of olive oil in there, and we'll pan sear them. So I'm going to press this tofu into our crust. And I just cut our tofu after I patted them dry and squeezed out as much moisture. I have them cut into some triangles for presentation purposes.
So Pat Belmont has cut her tofu into fingers, seasoned with taco flavors and then grilled, and then just kind of served that with usual taco toppings. I think that sounds like a great idea.
Yes.
So it's very versatile. So, you know, chef is doing some really cool encrusting, but you could simply season it, fry it, use it in place of any animal protein, really. The nice thing about tofu is it kind of absorbs the flavors of the things that it's being cooked with.
Exactly.
So you can go any route, like any flavors that sound good to you, you can just start experimenting with, you know, instead of chicken or pork or beef, you could do tofu.
All right. So we have our tofu and our parsnip won't take long, and we'll puree those up here. We'll add the goat cheese in there. And I think I have a little bit of orange zest, so I think I'm going to add that to the puree.
Wow.
Just to give a little brightness, and it goes well with the parsnips.
So how long will you let the tofu fry?
Not long. Like I said, I just want to get a nice little crust on the outside here. It's on a medium because I don't want to burn it because we already toasted the quinoa. So just enough oil in there to about a medium-high heat. And we'll flip them over here in a second after we get a little brown on that.
Do you think 2 to 3 minutes?
About 2 to 3 minutes per side.
Okay.
And because we squeeze out a lot of the moisture, that's going to allow it to be able to brown, get a good, nice brown, and just like a protein, a nice brown and searing.
Lori,
Yes.
a few years ago, one of the chefs that was there in residence, made a meal that used tofu, and it was stuffed shells. And that was really good. I mean, you put tofu and use like spinach with it, fresh spinach. You put that in it, and it if you don't tell anybody that it has tofu, they never know. You know.
Is that the key? Just don't tell.
Yeah. But it was, yeah, they did it there at Cancer Support. So you might have that on file if you want to try it sometime, but it is really good.
Yeah, that sounds really good. And I think you're right. Like, because it's just takes on the flavors of the things that it's cooked with. You could put it in for other proteins. You could put it in for cheese too. I think
Yeah.
well, like a stuffed shell might lend itself to like,
Right.
you know, I think that that's probably a great idea.
All right, so I've flipped over our tofu, it's get nice and brown, and I'm gonna take some of this goat cheese here. Oh, man, this goat cheese is really like nuts. So it was wrapped in a paper, then it was vacuum sealed, and then there's more plastic.
We don't really want plastic in the puree.
No nutritional value there.
Do you have to, do you think we need to get you some readers while you're cooking?
I might, Lori. My vision these days is not the same.
You're the only one that doesn't have any on. You should be ashamed of yourself.
You know what? Don't tell anybody. I actually do have them prescribed, and but not to wear all the time.
Okay.
I only need them either if I'm driving at night or if I'm reading for. But I don't know. I might need to go get my prescription up. I have my have nice and softened, so that, you know, putting it in the microwave, of course, cut down that time. Finished in the broth with the garlic. We're going to put it here in our food processor to blend it up, get a nice texture on it. We'll add the goat cheese in there, so we won't have to add any milk or anything else, because that's going to bring us to a nice creaminess. And then I have a little bit of orange juice. That's just going to bring a brightness to it and pair well with the parsnip and the goat cheese. And that garlic clove is going to go in here too and get nice and minced up with everything. There's that. How much time do we have?
You had to be done 3 minutes ago.
Oh, wow.
Just
I don't know how they do it on Chopped.
You've been chopped, my friend. Time is up. No, it's 6:33, but I don't think we really started till about 10 after.
That's correct.
Okay, so you have 6 more minutes. It just turned 6:34.
I have to say, Kara, I've been looking on our website under our recipe archives, looking for those stuffed shells. I have not had any luck. So if it was if it was made before 2017, we just don't have it uploaded. But I am going to keep searching for that recipe.
Yeah, it sounds good. Kind of comfort foodish.
Yes.
I can do the old fashioned way and make a copy and send it in the mail to
The old fashioned way.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I like paper.
I like real things, you know, like real people when you talk on the phone, you know.
Girl, I may take you up on that offer. Thank you. So a chef is pureeing there. For those who aren't familiar with our website, we do have all of the recipes archived back to 2017. And that's found under, if you go to programs and services and you hover over that, And the drop-down box, there's cooking for wellness recipes. And Chef will be creating tonight's recipe. He'll be handwriting that out for us, and we'll put it into a recipe format, and we'll be uploading that as soon as we get it. So you can go on and look at our past recipes that we've made.
That's great. Thank you. It looks really thick.
No, it's nice and creamy like mashed potatoes.
Okay.
Whoa.
So that is the parsnip, the garlic, and the goat cheese.
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh.
Sounds very fancy.
We'll call this our winter white plate. Oh, I wish I had some green.
Parsley.
Maybe slice up some of that orange instead. Give it a little color.
I gotta get innovative here. Got a little lime here. And an orange. Add some pops of color. Let's see here. I wish I need some greenery.
A little bit like building with Legos.
What can you create?
Well, I normally wouldn't use this because I can't stand this.
What is it?
Dried parsley.
Oh,
Oh,
when you're in a pinch.
I hate dried parsley, and I see people on social media always putting dried parsley on everything. Oh, never mind.
Did it. You have 1 minute to spare.
And it,
Voila. You're still working?
just quickly.
What's that?
That is a ginger sriracha sauce.
Oh.
We're gonna make a citrus sriracha.
I love sriracha. I think because it's so sweet.
Add a pinch of honey.
The finishing is in the details, isn't it? Okay,
Ah,
very nice.
let's put it up to the.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yes.
Wow.
It looks good.
Anyone else hungry now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to eat it.
Yeah, that looks really good.
It does.
Okay.
We're talking about maybe trying the quinoa with maybe some Chinese type spices like 5-spice powder and ginger.
Oh, yes.
That would be really good. So now that's all.
Into the light.
That's what we're meaning to do, is just kind of give you some ideas on how you can put things together.
Yeah, just something quick.
Thank you.
Something quick off the top of the head. But definitely, you know, we could do a whole lot more with this. But that's just a base of what you could possibly do with that tofu and the parsnips. I know most of the time we roast them.
Well, that looks really good. We appreciate your sharing your creative ideas. And does anyone have any questions or anything they want to say?
All right, Darlene, the moment everybody's been waiting for.
I think Lakeisha needs to come over.
I have to tell you, I was very, very selfish when I suggested the tofu, because I have tofu and I have quinoa, so that's how I'm going to cook it tomorrow. I'm going to move it. I'm excited.
Good.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you. I'm glad
Thank you.
you found it useful.
So yeah, something quick and just something to jazz up your tofu. Because like Lori mentioned before, most of the time when people think about tofu, it can become whatever tofu really is a blank slate. It can become whatever you want it to do, whatever flavor profile, however you want to turn it and twist it. So yes, you can have it in a salad. You can have it as think of it, whatever you would do with, say, a piece of chicken or a protein. That's what you could do with tofu.
I would add a steamed veggie like steamed cauliflower, steamed broccoli, and steamed carrots.
Yeah, if
to
I
go
had
with it-
if I had
go
some
with it as a
vegetables,
side dish.
yeah, I would do something to add some green to that, so some broccoli or something of that sort. Some Swiss chard. Swiss chard would be good with that, with the parsnips. So.
All right, guys, I'm gonna do a taste test.
Taste test. Gotta get some of the puree.
Well, I have to say it was delicious. The only time I've had parsnips, I made them at home once and did not know about the woody part, and I was not a fan, but now I know I have to give them another try since I now have that technique or that little tip. But my hat's off to Chef Jason for a very delicious white plate winter meal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for those who submitted idea. Always great to have that challenge and make my brain have to work.
Hey, Jason, guess what?
Yes.
You know how you always want feedback? I meant to tell you, I made the cake with the blueberries.
Oh, with
You
the
know?
blueberry compote? Yes.
Yes, it was wonderful. And we even took it, we spent almost a week in North Carolina. So I took all the stuff, to make it.
And you didn't
Even
take me. I've been dying to go to North Carolina. That's why I plan to relocate. And you didn't take me.
It was nice. It was actually warm enough to walk on the beach, but I don't want to make you feel bad. But but the cake was a 10 plus. It was really good.
Well, we're glad that you enjoyed that. Thank you
Yeah.
for making that. We appreciate it.
And
encourage
can I say,
other
those
people
really
to
taste like
try.
mashed potatoes.
I made the beef and rice. And because I overbought zucchini and red pepper, I just threw everything I had in there. So there was even more veggies in there.
Oh, yeah.
And it was delicious. I mean, it was delicious. It would have been delicious with less veggies, but it was really good.
Good.
Well, that's always good to hear. We appreciate that feedback. That's what we're here for, is to inspire you, as educate you, but also inspire you and empower you to be able to create these dishes at home, put your own little spins and twists on them, and just have something new that you can always have to kind of fall back on when it comes to creating great meals, but that are still beneficial for you.
And I used bison meat, which I think gave it
Oh,
some flavor.
yeah, because bison meat, even though it's low fat, but it has really great flavor. I actually just made, if you follow me on Instagram, I just posted it. I did a curry bison and chickpea chili last week for my client for his lunch. So really great flavors, but nice and healthy. It was ground bison, of course, curry, onions, red peppers, chickpeas, coconut milk, red curry paste, some plenty of flavors, and some cilantro in there. It was great, and you can top it with a little dollop of Greek yogurt. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Then I made some sweet potato cornbread muffins to go with it.
Oh, now I'm hungry. For real.
For real, that's for sure. Yeah.
Me too.
Hey, guess what? You're not alone. I am too.
Well, we want to say thank you so much to Chef Jason for his creativity for tonight, and Lori for all of the wonderful nutritional information. And thank you to Giant Eagle for sponsoring tonight's program. The recipe will be uploaded after Chef has a chance to write out that and figure out exactly how much was in that sprinkle of smoked paprika he used.
Sprinkle. That will be in the direction. Sprinkle.
That's a valid measurement.
And again, thank you to everybody who submitted ideas, ingredient suggestions.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
You, Chef.